Okay, so the first thing is first. I'm definitely putting on a disclaimer on this blog before I do anything else. This disclaimer is because I am not a certified doctor, and I am not don't have a certificate or specialty in this field. My thing is I've learned from personal experience how to get rid of plantar fantasia. I had it. It's painful. It is not fun to have. And what happened with me is when I got it, I thought, oh man, I'm getting a bone spur or something like that because it happened like, I don't know, maybe 2.5 years ago for me. And basically, anyone who knew me at the time at work saw me limping. I literally walked around on my toes like this all day long at work. And people kept going, why are you limping? And I would tell them, my heel hurt. My heel hurt right in here. And I mean, it hurt so bad that it was hard for me to walk on it. It was hard for me to stand. And I had one of my girls go, you know what? It would be really cool if you did a vlog on plantar fantasia and how you got rid of it. I did heal from it. I did get it cured on my own without having to go into a step foot into a doctor's office. But how I found out that I had it, the interesting story. Because my father-in-law was checking up on us because it was the same year that we had lost our garage in the garage fire. And, as we were going through a little bit of depression, things like that. So he was checking on us, and I told my father-in-law, this is why I haven't been to the Kingdom Hall, and I told him about my foot. And he says, really? And he says, you know what? I had that. He says, what you have is plantar fantasia. He says, I had it 3 times. All 3 times I cured it. I'm like, really? He says, you don't need to go to a doctor. You don't need to do any of that. He says, first thing you do is you get the plantar fantasia inserts. So for next day at work, guess what I'm doing? I'm running over to the pharmacy looking for the plantar fantasia inserts. Got them, put them in my shoes, started trying it out. And second thing he told me is something that nobody wants to do, and that is wear your tennis shoes around the house all day long, nonstop. How hard is that to do? When you have foot pain, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to kick off your shoes, correct? You want to feel the cold floor on your feet. No, that's the wrong thing to do. And I was like, what? And he told me, he was like, I had to wear my shoes constantly all the time. I didn't want to wear my shoes constantly all the time. I mean, come on, who does, So I started listening to him because he said he healed from it 3 times. And like my husband said, it's not going to hurt to try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But, it's better than having to end up spending money to go to, the doctor and then end up at a foot doctor, correct? So I'm like, okay. So I started following his ritual that he told me to do. So I wore my shoes all the time. I got the plantar fantasia inserts. Started doing that. Now, the other thing that I did, this is really cool. He told me to, okay, and I'm going to show both of these things to you. And I'm trying to make sure it's in the camera good so you can see what I'm doing. And I think it's going to be better for you guys if I come this way. So what he told me to do is to use a can of vegetables or something like that. And to roll my foot on it every night and every day. Every time that I thought about it, I was to roll my foot on it. Let me explain to you what plantar fantasia is for anybody who does not know. Okay, so your foot right here has this little band that goes across here. And it stretches from here all the way up to your toes. So that's why a lot of people, when they have really sharp heel pain, like down in here, they mistaken it for having a bone spur or something like that. It's not a bone spur. It's actually plantar fantasia. And, so my suggestion to you is I'm going to show you a few things real quick that I did besides wearing my tennis shoes all the time and besides having the plantar fantasia foot inserts in my shoes that helped me to heal from it. The third thing that I did was making a mistake on was, remember what I told you, I was walking around on my toes all the time. What happened? My toes got to where they were killing me because I was putting all my weight on my toes because I wasn't wanting to put my weight on my heel. And my father-in-law said, that's a no-no too. When you have plantar fantasia, it does heal because what it is basically this from here to here has gotten a slight tear in it. That's why you end up with a plantar fasciitis. So it has to heal just like you have a fracture in your bone, or sprung ankle, sprung arm, sprung leg, something like that. Okay. And so he says you have to walk on it normal, just like you do with a sprung arm. You use it like you normally would as much as possible. Same with the leg. Same, you don't want to baby it. That's the worst thing you can do when you have a sprain. So he says you have to walk normal. He says quit walking around on your toes. He says I know it's painful, but you have to walk around on your foot as normal as you possibly can walk. So then when I come home at night, I was supposed to use something like this. Okay, and so you take your foot and you roll your foot on it back and forth, and you want to press as hard as you can on this spot right here, because that's actually where your tear is right in here. So you want to massage that spot every time you get the chance, just like that, rolling your foot. When you get to that spot, you want that spot right there, and you just want to keep rolling it and rolling it back and forth and get a nice stretch in that spot and keep it going back and forth. Okay, that is the first step to healing it. Here's another thing I use, because I actually have one of these because my mother-in-law bought me one. So, is this baby. Okay, when me and my hubby got married, first got married 5-6 years old or something. So, my mother-in-law bought us one of these because we work retail, we're on our feet all the time. So she thought this would be an awesome gift for them because they could massage your feet. So if you notice, it has the little nodules on here. This one also has a heater. So when I turn it on, not only does this run around, but I hit it again and it turns heat on. So it actually feels really good. Surprisingly, I love this thing, and I normally cannot stand for my feet to be touched. I guess maybe if somebody tried massaging my feet, I'd feel a little different because I can handle this. I just don't like my feet being tickled. I guess that's the real deal. But this little knob right here was amazing. What I would do is, let me see if I can get this to where you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I would put my foot, because it was right here, right? And I would stick it right there, so that every time it would come around, that this knob right here would be hitting that spot like non-stop. It would just like bam, like a hammer, boom, 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 pounding it every time it would come around. It felt like a hammer was just, but I'm telling you, I'm not going to play about how it felt because I was injured and I was healing. It hurt like a, you know what, every single time. I would do this every night. I'd come home from work, whether I worked a 7 to 4 or 12 to 9. As soon as I was ready to relax and unwind, bam, by the computer, play my farm game, whatever I decided to do, playing around on the computer, look at Facebook, whatever. And I would sit there like this. And I would literally probably grit my teeth before it was over with, because I would keep it up over and over and over and over and make sure it just hit that spot really hard over and over, because it hurt so bad that I wanted it to heal and I wanted it to go away. And so it did hurt really bad when it did it, but I made sure it was massaging that area specifically, and I kept it up. It probably took me 3 to 4 weeks that I had to keep doing this over and over again, and it really worked. So if you don't have this massager or something like this that you can get a hold of or can't afford one, then do what I just showed you with my jar of peanut butter and roll your foot right there and just keep rolling it on that spot, because it's just repetition. Like if you go to a chiropractor or a masseuse because you have something that is out of whack, what are they going to do? You're going to tell them the problem area. The chiropractor is going to have x-rays done, find out what your problem area is, what area in your back or is in your back, your knee, wherever it is. The physical therapist, same thing. And that is out of whack. And what do? They keep working that spot over and over and over again. So that's what you are doing with this massager. That is what you would do with your can of vegetables, like I showed you a minute ago, with your foot, is you would just keep running that over and over on that spot. So let me show you one more thing that helped me heal from plantar fasciitis. So a couple of exercises that you want to do with your feet is, first you want to take it and you pull your toes back and you just pull on this spot here, and again it's putting pressure on that spot, and you pull it back and hold it as long as you can and keep it pulled back just like that, and then bring it forward, and then you do it again, and that will help you heal. The other thing that is really cool is use a wall or door. So I'm going to use this door so you can see what I'm doing. You're going to put your foot up against that wall as flush as you can get it. And then you're going to take your foot, because you're putting pressure on that area, and you're just going to turn your foot to the side and hold it. And then you want to hold it for, I don't know, several seconds, for as long as you can hold it. And then you want to flip it to the other side. And then get, like I said, as flush to the wall as you can with it. And then keep doing that as often as possible as well. Those 2 stretches, guaranteed, will stretch out that band that's by your heel, and it will help it to heal. The more you stretch it, the better it will heal. So those are just what I had did personally to recover from plantar fasciitis. But I will tell you again, as a disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, I'm not certified. And if you try my techniques that I just showed you, wearing the shoes all the time, getting the plantar fasciitis inserts in for your shoes from when you're walking around, making sure you're not going around your house barefoot, and to protect that foot while it's injured. Okay, best way to put it is, what do you do when you have a broken arm? Or you get a really bad sprain and you actually go to the doctor for it. Same with the foot. They're going to put your foot in a boot, right? Your foot is going to have to stay in that boot until that break is healed, until that sprain is healed. So it's basically the same concept with wearing your shoes around the house all the time. Even though I know we hate to do it, but it has to be done. Would you rather do that, do these exercises, do the massaging with the, the peanut butter jar, the vegetable, or a massager if you have a foot massager? Or would you rather walk around on your tippy toes for the rest of your life, or cringe every time you have to walk because it acts up and it hurts? So you make the choice. If in 3 or 4 weeks it doesn't heal after trying my techniques and the things that I've mentioned, then please go to a doctor, because there's probably something more going on, or you have a special case with it to where it's hurt a lot worse than just normal people, or you've heard it a lot worse and you may end up having to have surgery or something else more in-depth done to heal it. Okay, so if you try all the techniques that I mentioned that healed mine to keep me from having to spend a doctor's bill and keep me out of the doctor's office, and it don't work for you, then make sure you are visiting your doctor as soon as possible and getting it taken care of. But anyway, one of my girls thought it would be really interesting to see what I did and to talk about how I healed from plantar fasciitis. And now you know I've had it. If I ever get it again, I guarantee you I will follow that same regimen that I just told you, and until it's completely healed. And it didn't happen overnight. You have to really be patient with it. It took me probably 2 to 3 weeks. And then within about 3 weeks, it started feeling really good. And it was healed. And now I walk normal. Now I have no pain. So, and I haven't had for a couple of years now or better. So it can be done. and it can be healed that way. But like I said, everybody's a different case. Yours may be a special case where you can't heal it without getting the help from a doctor or a specialist. But you know what? It's worth a try to at least try these things and first and see if they help you, because who wants to go to a doctor and who wants to pay the doctor bills? Sorry out there. All the doctors or nurses is probably listening to me right now are probably throwing tomatoes at their screens or their stupid telephones for me saying that, but it's true. I mean, nobody wants to unless they have to. It's just too expensive. So who has the kind of money to just throw away on stuff like that when there's home remedies that can help you and fix things? So I hope you have a wonderful evening, everybody. And I hope that this blog does help somebody. And subscribe to my channel and check me out on my Facebook.